Hi, this is Mary. Welcome to Creating Vintage. This is a journal I made, again, for a swap on Junk Journal Junkies. It seems that when I enter a swap, I actually do finish my journals. So it's good motivation for me. And this one was an autumn theme. So I made this one out of fabric. This is bias tape that I tea dyed and coffee dyed. So it's looking a little grungy, but this just wraps around to tie it down. And it was supposed to be a travel size, 4.5 by 8. And I used this, it was a sample piece of fabric that was for upholstery fabric. And so it was just a sample. It was going to be tossed out, and I rescued it. And I thought, well, those are kind of fall colors. So I decided to use it for this journal. And I'm not sure if peach was the best, but it flows. But you got some oranges and greens in there. And then I open it up and you have some gold, some orange. And this was from an Ideals vintage magazine I found at a thrift store. And I used several pages in it here. And this was a bouquet. And on this side of it, I made a belly band and I stitched some just leaves with just plain brown thread. This, and then you can see the back of the Ideals magazine. It said a day in autumn, and they wrote something about it. This is a journal card, and what this was is I covered up the advertisement from a landscaping company. They hung this on my door, and I cut it and fixed the corners. I think I tried to ink it a little bit, but I thought that goes pretty well for autumn. We got a doily and some mustard yellow with stitching around it. And on this side, I have a pocket. This is really thick. There's a lot in here. This I got from the Graphics Fairy. There's something about pumpkins. And this is just scrapbook paper and into a tag. Thought it was fall colors, and another piece. And it's very simple, just a yellow piece of scrapbook paper cardstock that I put brown hole reinforcers and used the tag topper and made that into fancier little tag. Let's see. Sometimes I like these to go in here and nicely, but I get a little fumbly on camera, so if I take them out and set them aside, no, they're going back in. There's just some yellow lace that I coffee dyed or maybe tea dyed, I don't know. And this is an old envelope. And so that just kind of covered up the envelope part and added a little something. And I made this tag for it, but I did put some paper back there so you can see into the hole. But it's just some corn, it's a little collage. Oh, I made like a master board, and so I have several of these in here. There's some German paper. This was from an old catalog, and a little bit of book page. This is English. And then I put the corn on, and I had the topper, which I have is a fairly new thing for me. So that's the back of that. And then here I have some more lace, which I just thought was so pretty. Oh, and we were supposed to put 5 beads or charms. I don't tend to be really good at that, but I just put a few beads on this bulb pin, and this goes out, so it's a nice little flip out. And that's just some tea stain paper. Oh, and you could put something in here. I didn't, but just because it's already so full, but there is plenty of, I didn't glue it down, so you could do that. And you could write a lot of journaling space. I think you might be able to write on here, although it's kind of busy. This is also from the Ideals magazine, and you have a Native American and a pilgrim. And I don't know what age this is supposed to be, because those look like shocks of wheat, and that doesn't really fit. But I don't want to get into a historical inaccuracy issue about art. But I put some lace over the words here. I thought about cutting it off, and then I kind of like the length, so I just added lace instead over it. And I did leave that open so you could stick something in there, but it probably wouldn't hold very well because it's very shallow. On this side of the page, I made a book page 3 pocket. So with just lace on indicating each pocket as some gathered lace. And these are some tickets. These are things I made with stamps. And this was from some candy. Somebody gave my husband some candy from Italy. He was helping her and she helped him with that. So I just basically some tickets, and that's from the same box of candy. And these are little tags that I thought were autumnish colors. And see with this, see she's up there picking apples. And this is just the back of the page. And there was a lot of writing here. But it'll take me a while to put everything back in here again. But, and that's a sloth, that's why he's upside down. So this was just the dictionary page. And this is a bag from Subway. Love Subway. I'm not getting promoted by them. I'm just saying that's where the bag came from. And I covered up the seam with some this peach colored lace, which then I coffee stained it to make it look a little bit more fall. And she's in there with, she's harvesting some wheat. Oh, and I put a few things in here. Let's see, we have some fall-looking flowers and some buttons, orange buttons on a brown card. And on this side, I have some German book page with a butterfly. And this little girl is, and she's not so little, but she's a young girl picking apples. And I thought this color almost matches, so you can imagine that came off her sash. I've never used blanket binding before in a journal. And this is music page, and it was a little bit longer, so I just folded it and zigzagged it on there. This side is coffee stained, which you can probably see is coffee stained. And I did a blind hem stitch around the edge. I see a lot of people use that and don't seem to realize that's what it is, but that's a blind hem stitch. I've got some corn here. This is another one of those Ideals pages. So I did 3 of them. We had 10 sheets of paper, which makes 20 pages or 40 front and back. And 3 of the sheets I did with the Ideals. So the centerfold is a picture of Thanksgiving. This is from the Art Institute of Chicago. I put a few beads on the bottom of this one, of the center. So that's an old Thanksgiving scene. And this is the other side of the corn. It's very autumny looking. And again, the coffee paper. And this is the side of the music paper. I put on a piece of paper. I have this dangle. So there we have a pumpkin. and I have some beads on it and some beads on the paper clip, on the actual paper clip. And it was there if you fold it over. It's a seam. And this is also from the Ideals. Let's see, you can see the whole scene. So it's kind of an autumny flare, and it has a poem about autumn, a rainy day, the day is done. So this is, but I folded it into sort of an envelope type shape. And then paper clipped it with my charm. So you could take that off if you don't particularly like that. Other side of my Subway bag, the little piece of lace you could use as a pocket, but I did not. And inside I have a little notebook I made. So you could write on here. There's different papers in here. And there is a tag. Oh, I also did a little pin there with some beads. Let's see. Just some stamps, and then I colored them in with some colored pencil. So I wasn't sure which direction to put it, but it made sense for some reason to do it this way. And that was that. And then this side, I had to cover something up with just a little bit of book page. And again, I think this went all the way through around. And I put her picture in there. And that's just a card stock that I stamped on with coffee, but I think there was some ink left on it, so it left some different colors. There's some more corn. This one I just glued down, but that was covering up like a couple lines of text. And here we have a Pilgrim woman with the Native American woman and the brown lace, which also went all the way through. This side, I have some maple leaves. The funny thing is I gathered these from my yard, and I had no idea, but we had this big storm that came through last week, and I actually lost both my silver maple trees in my front yard. So these are some of the last leaves that will come off of it. I didn't collect any when they took it down. I wasn't thinking. But it's just in wax paper, and I kind of frankened them onto the end of the other paper. So that was quite fall-like. This is another envelope, which I did some collage on to cover up some of it. We've got a rooster. And let's see, that flips. And it flips again. So these all flip out. And you can see these are all pockets. And you could do it this way as well. So I will pull this out. And everything has something behind it. This is the master board I made. And that's just from a paperback. And this one had in it a rooster. And again, these are all from the same master board. In fact, you can see how they were from the same master board. That was a doll in a catalog. And this one was not from that same master board. This was a shampoo box. And I just collaged it with I think that's a mum. A little thing of ginger tea, and I thought that was a pretty little stamp from a book. And as I said, you can put those in however, this way or that way. And then this pocket, I pretty much did the same thing I did on the other side, a piece of scrapbook paper, a fall print. This is orange, and then I stenciled it. So you could write on the back. And I did, snip the edges. I had a little fancy corner punch to go with my tag topper, and I thought it made it pretty. And there's some colors for fall. Then we have this. And, oh, did I get all my little charms? Here's another charm with a sunflower to kind of go with these. Now this paper was just so brittle, and that's why on the edge and on here I had to tape it. This is just a slime thing. I'm not sure if this made the best card, but you could use it. And I thought I needed to put something in there. There's the pretty flowers. And on the last page, I have a book page like you'd get in a library pocket. And I put autumn. I need to stamp the date. That's something I tend to like to do at the back of my books, is to put in a library card so you know the title of the book and when it was made. And that is my fall journal. And I hope whoever gets this really enjoys it. I had fun making it. It is really a little too thick, and that's without all this stuff in it. It has a lot of stuff in it, but not everything. So thanks for tuning in. If you liked it, like the video, subscribe, and I will see you more often, hopefully.